Hey everybody, it's Ecap here, and in this video we have some really big changes coming to Season 2 of The War Within, and for the next patch, regarding Mythic Plus, how we get our gear, how we get our crests, how we craft our gear, all these types of things. And crafting the gear is not Mythic Plus only, but a lot of this has to do with Mythic Plus. And like I said, this is going to go live in the next patch as kind of like a test, I imagine. So next week, this will go live, these changes. And as it says here at the top, and this will be the starting point for Season 2. So it's going to be a bit of a test. They might adjust it if they're like, oh, wow, this is too much, or maybe it's not even enough. So let's go through and see what these changes are. These have been perceived very, very well in the community. A lot of the community is playing other games and stuff right now. They see this and they go, oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to Season 2. So let's go through here. In next week's update, Siren Isle patch 11.0.7 will make several adjustments to the availability of Gilded Harbinger crests and the acquisition of all crest types through Mythic Plus dungeons. Gilded and Mythic track gear represent the pinnacle of available gear from a season and are meant to be rare, but we have seen feedback that both the availability of these crests and the cost of crafting top tier gear feel prohibitive. So changes. Currency rewards for Mythic Plus dungeons, crests, gold, and Valor Stones now scale by keystone level, and completing a keystone outside of the timer will always deducts 4 crests. So it was more than that. So if you're doing heroic dungeon, right? So you can queue for heroic dungeons, you get weathered crests, and you're going to get 10 of them. There's no timer, so you don't get any penalty. Regular mythics are going to give carved 10. Again, no timer. +2 to +3 are also carved, but you're going to get 12 and 14. So it is more valuable to run if you're a carved crest gamer and you normally run mythics. It is more advantageous for you to try a +2 or +3. And then of course it's -4. We don't need to go through every time. So if you don't get the timer, it's just -4 from where you are. We can go through the runed at 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's where you get your runed crests. And at a +7, you actually get 18 rune crests for beating the timer, which is a lot. And so you get 14 rune crests even if you don't beat the timer. So pretty good. When you get into the gilded, this is where it gets really interesting. So at +8, you get the gilded, and you get 12 for timing it. 9, 14, 16, 18, all the way up to 20, where it maxes out at +12. That means at +13, you still get 20, +14, you still get 20. 20 is likely going to be the max here. But what's interesting about this is an untimed 12 is now the same as a timed 10. So whereas before there was no real point to running 11s and 12s, now you could take a chance, because maybe you'll time it. Maybe you'll time it and get 20. But even if you don't time it, you're still going to get the same amount that you would have by doing your 10 for the vault. So you're going to complete, let's say you complete the 12, right? You get the 12 for your vault, the 10, the max for your vault. From that, you also get the same amount of crests as you would have gotten for timing your 10. And, so the only penalty is that maybe it took you longer to run because, you struggled through the key or something like that, right? But yeah, so people will probably take more chances on running 11s and 12s. I know I would. I would try to run 11s and 12s to get more crests. Now 11 would be a little bit sketchy because I'd really want to time it because I wouldn't want to get less than the 10 that I can almost guarantee time. But the 12s, this is interesting. I like this. This is cool. And of course, for the people who just farm 12s and higher all the time, 20 crests every time. So for the very high end players for Mythic Plus, that's very good. The number of Gilded Harbinger crests needed to purchase nascent Gilded Harbinger crests was 60, down from 90. So this was a huge barrier. This always took me forever to get these crests at the end of a season because I'm not playing quite as much, or middle of the season, whatever. And the last thing I just upgraded actually was my belt. I went from 635 to 637 this week. It was either this week or the end of last week. I just got to 637 and eye level on my character because my belt was still at 619. I got enough crests and I sent it. The number of Harbinger crests needed to purchase trade-up bags reduced to 45. It was 90. And Harbinger of the Guild achievement now requires item level 636 in every slot, and it was 639, which is a good change as well. For players who are functionally finished with their gearing journey, the bar for Harbinger of the Guild achievement has been a bit too high, precluding the use of crafted gear and requiring luck to fill every slot. Lowering the threshold from the item level 639 to 636 should add a little more flexibility and ensure that players who are completing the hardest content feel they can unlock the final warband discount. So basically, for your warband discounts, right? And I'm in this boat too, right? I have 637 item level, but I don't have 2 Mythic Tracker rings even, right? And I don't know if you can just move the ring to the other side. I guess I never tried that, but like there's some stuff that I don't have at super high eye level. And so, you know, this is definitely an issue. I definitely see the problem, at least, right, with this. And so I think that's a good change as well. Again, the once you complete the highest level content, you should be rewarded for it. Just like when you complete heroic content, right? You should be rewarded by able to have your alts go up, your warband go up to the high level heroic. And same thing should be the case with Mythic as well. The changes to Crest, Reward, and Mythic Plus have 2 main aims. Those are just their thoughts. And we hope the difference for Crest strikes a better balance, yada, yada, yada. So basically my thoughts on this, of course, this is good. This is a good change. Maybe a little bit too late, but at the same time, I don't think that these changes would have stopped people from trying out Path of Exile 2 and doing all these other things. People are doing stuff for the holidays. Like, this is the perfect time to drop it because it's a good time to test it. It'll make some people come back and be like, oh, maybe I'll gear out an alt or whatever before the next season. But most of all, I think what this does is it does increase people's want to try out season 2 because first of all, a lot of people had fun in season 1. Some people forget it because right now we're kind of in a lull, right? We always talk about the lulls of content and stuff on this channel. And people forget that at the beginning of the season, everyone was having a good time for the most part. There were some complaints from the very, very high-end community, but everyone was pretty much having a good time at the beginning of the season. And this will be like, huh, wow, so season 2 is going to be even more fun. Maybe I'll keep playing, right? And so, again, that's player retention. That's smart for Blizzard to do in that case as well. But it also just for people who are going to play anyways, like me, it's just going to be better. So, like, I was gonna play season 2 either way. And so now season 2 is just going to be more fun and easier to do and less of a pain in the butt for me to get my items crafted at the end of the season or whatever. Because I like to upgrade my more meaningful items first and then upgrade my crafted items. Unless, of course, you crafted your weapon, then you might want to upgrade that first. But when you craft it on your low value pieces anyways, I like to use my, I want to use my crest on my trinkets, on my weapon, on things that have more stat value and stuff than to use them onto my crafted items. So yeah, I overall I love these changes. I think they're really good. I think, and the biggest thing is I think it gets people more excited to come back and play season 2. After they're taking a little break from Path of Exile, or it's between like Path of Exile, patches or expansions, whatever they call them in Path of Exile seasons, I think is what they actually call them. So yeah, overall, good job by Blizzard there. Just a W, fairly common these days. For them, which is crazy to say. Thinking back at Shadowlands, I've been thinking back at Shadowlands recently, to Korthia and all that, and we've come a long way. I'll say that we've come a very, very long way from Korthia. We are a long way from Korthia. So that'll be it for this one, guys. As always, I suggest you please subscribe to the channel. If you're already a subscriber, I ask you to please check out the Patreon. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.